Hey y'all, my name is Shiva and I want to welcome you to the Soul Tapes podcast. I believe that we are souls in a human body experiencing this thing we call life. I'd like to talk about how even the most trifling moments in life can be enlightening, and even the most enlightening moments can be a little bit trifling. If something in your soul resonates with that, sit back and relax while I get into today's topic. So for today's episode, I want to get into what practicing self-love really looks like. You know, we're often told that we need to practice self-love, but we're not usually really told what it looks like day to day. So Google defines self-love as regard for one's own well-being and happiness. And I think that definition is good, but it's also very surface level, if you know what I mean. The way I see it, we come into this world alone and we leave this world alone. Everything in between, as much as you might have other people, at the end of the day, you're spending most of your time with yourself. You're the only person you can't get away from. So I think that having regard for one's own well-being and happiness is great, but I think having a deep involvement in one's own well-being and happiness is even better. I think that self-love should look like treating yourself and behaving as if you are the most important person in your life, because to be honest, you are. You know what I mean? Most things that you do and most things that you experience are a reflection of the choices that you make in this life. And I genuinely feel like the most important choice you can make is to love yourself. You know, there's no way around it. You can't escape yourself. You gotta be with you 24/7. So you might as well love your own company. And I feel like there's been a lot of contentification, if that's even a word, a lot of contentification of self-care and self-love and like what that looks like. And so like when you look it up on like TikTok or Twitter or whatever, if you see something about self-care, a lot of times it's looking like going and getting your nails done or like taking yourself to get some food. And those things are 100% can be included in self-care for sure. Like I'm not counting those things out. But I think that you have to take it deeper than that to really get to what self-love is and what it's supposed to encompass. I think the easiest way to get a grasp on what self-love should look like for you is to think about how you behave in romantic relationships and what you prefer in romantic relationships and mimic that to yourself. Because I think there's something romantic about self-love. I think that self-love should be romantic. You should be giving yourself the things that you want to see from partners, because one, you will feel so surrounded by love no matter what your relationship status is. And two, when you enter into romantic relationships and relationships that are platonic and familial, you will at least have a standard of loving yourself that you can compare to others. If people can't love you as good as you love yourself, then they don't need to be here. They need to be doing just as good, if not better. I think a lot of the conversation around dating lately has been around the 5 love languages. So those love languages are going to include physical touch, acts of service, words of affirmation, gift giving, and quality time. So in romantic relationships, physical touch might look like sex or cuddling or random acts of affection, right? Acts of service may look like somebody doing your laundry for you when you're depressed or overwhelmed, or going and getting you some food because they know you haven't eaten, or completing a task that you need help with. Words of affirmation can look like compliments, can look like verbal affection, such as I love you, I care about you, you're beautiful. Gift giving can look like getting you things or making you things, whatever gifts that you like. And lastly, quality time usually looks like spending time together, whether that be on dates or in your room watching movies together. Quality time is just spending time with your person. And so for most people, the love languages are not really a new thing. Most people have taken the love language test and will put in their bio on Twitter or on Hinge and Tinder that they love physical touch and quality time. Those are my top two. So in taking that understanding of love languages and translating it into self-love, you already know, for the most part. If you haven't taken a love language test, go ahead and take it. It's fun, it's cute, but you don't have to take it. Most times you already know what it is that you like. But when you go ahead and translate that into self-love, you already know, okay, I really, really love physical touch and quality time, right? What does that look like in loving myself? How does that translate? I think that translates most closely to getting comfortable with your body, not only seeing it, but touching it, caressing yourself, self-pleasure, giving yourself massages, things that we often like for others to do, but we can do them ourselves. You know what I mean? Quality time looks like spending time with yourself that's intentional. So it's cool. Like, most of us are always going to be on TikTok or watching a movie on Netflix or whatever the case may be. You might be alone, but are you intentional about that time that you're spending with yourself? Putting your phone away and saying, like, I'm spending this time with myself to really enjoy this movie and check in with myself. Do I like it? Do I hate it? Do I want to watch something else? I think that's what quality time looks like when you translate it to self-love. Words of affirmation, I think, is one of the easier forms of self-love to get into when you're translating it from the love languages. So affirmations, looking yourself in the mirror. I am beautiful. I am powerful. I am successful. I am wealthy. Using those affirmations to really empower and instill into yourself, like, yeah, I'm a bad bitch, because as you should, it's you. You see what you're doing. You should affirm yourself of that. Gift giving is one of those ones that's pretty self-explanatory, but treating yourself in accordance with your budget, so you're not hurting yourself in the end. Everything should be to your benefit. So girl, if you want those shoes and it's not gonna hurt you to buy them shoes right now, go buy the shoes. If you want some flowers, do not wait for that man, woman, or person to go get you flowers. Baby, go get you some flowers if you like them already. You know what I mean? I think that that's important too. The last one is my favorite love language when it comes to self-love, and that is acts of service. I'm going to get into it a little bit later, but doing things for yourself from the mindset of, this is for the future me, this is to the benefit of the future me, is so, so, so important. When I don't want to fold my laundry, I fold it and say, I'm doing this for future Shiva. And then when the laundry is done, there's going to be some point where I'm like, ooh, this outfit will be really cute. I really want to wear this shirt. And I go, and the shirt is clean and folded and not wrinkled. That's beautiful. I love myself so much when I do that. Or washing the dishes, because I hate washing the dishes, y'all. I hate it so bad. But washing the dishes and being like, when I wake up in the morning to go make myself some breakfast, that breakfast is going to hit so much more when I look and see there's no dishes in my sink. I think that acts of service is the most beautiful love language. But that's me. I know a lot of people whose love language is gifts giving and receiving gifts. They love to buy themselves things, and that's something that they do. If you feel like you deserve luxury, don't wait for anybody else to give it to you. Go give it to yourself. But in understanding the love languages, and I hope the way that I explained it made sense, in understanding the love languages, you need to go ahead and take the time, whether it be journaling or just pondering, what love languages do you think you would love to give yourself the most? And go ahead and think about that. I'm not sure if this has comments, but comment it. Let me know. DM me. I do not mind. So while I think the love languages and translating those into self-love is a very digestible and easy to understand intro to self-love, I do understand that it gets a lot deeper than that. Really diving into your self-love journey is not pretty. It's not what it looks like on TikTok, folding your clothes and making yourself coffee in the morning. That's part of it for sure. But the journey of self-love is ugly. You know, a lot of us have trauma. A lot of us have things that we're working through that have impacted the way that we see ourselves and the way that we love ourselves and the way that we show up in the world. And so I don't want you guys to think that going into the self-love journey is going to be all like peaches and cream. It's not. It's really not. Like, there are going to be days where you have to take a really long, hard look at yourself in the mirror and say, I do not like this about myself, and I love myself enough that I am willing to put in the work to change that. Because loving yourself is loving yourself for who you are, but also understanding that just like anybody else, any relationship you've been in, you can love that person for who they are and still recognize like, oh, they need to work on this, or this is a toxic trait, or they need therapy for this. Looking at yourself and doing the same thing is so hard because you want to go to the extreme of like, I'm perfect, I love myself, can't nobody tell me shit about me, which is true, period. You should have that outlook. But also, when you look yourself in the mirror, you need to understand, hey, these are some things I need to work on. And I love myself enough to be honest with myself about those things. And I think that's the side of self-love that people don't get into enough. And I intend to get personal on this podcast because I think this is a space for healing and understanding. And I think the only way that I can help people heal and learn is by being authentically myself and being honest. And so the hardest thing for me in my self-love journey has been getting over my own like mommy issues, right? Me and my mom do not have a very good or stable relationship. And that's caused me to take on a lot of traits that I don't really like about myself. The biggest one is trust issues. I don't trust a lot of people because one of the people who I should have been able to trust in from a very young age showed me very early on that I could not trust them and that I was not secure and safe with them. So therefore, I have trust issues in a lot of my relationships, my friendships, and my familial relationships. And recently, I've realized that I also don't trust myself. I realized that not trusting myself was hindering me in a lot of ways that I was not realizing. I've put myself in a lot of situations and relationships where my intuition or my inner voice was telling me, hey, this is hurting me. This is hurting me a lot. And instead of listening to myself and my inner voice, I betrayed my own trust and continued to hurt myself by staying in those situations. So if I can't feel safe and secure, even within myself, how can I expect myself to feel safe and secure with other people? And that's something I really, really had to work on. I stopped forcing myself to go to events that I didn't want to go to just so that I can be social or be with my friends. I stopped forcing myself to interact with men who were not showing me the highest form of love that I deserved, because that was showing myself that I was not deserving of the highest form of love. And if I wasn't willing to put myself in situations that showed I was deserving of it, I would always think I wasn't deserving of it. So self-love can get as deep or as superficial as you want to take it. But if you really, really want to get into it, you've got to get deep. You've got to get real with yourself. And those conversations are hard. Baby, I be crying. I be journaling and crying. One thing about it, I'm a cry. So like, I have to be honest with myself. I have to get it out. And I will say that I'm lucky enough to have friends that don't mind being a sounding board and don't mind letting me cry on their shoulder when I'm telling them how I feel about my relationship with my mom or my relationship with men or my relationship just with people. They will listen to me all day, every day. But I have to love myself enough and be honest with myself enough to even have those conversations. And I'm sure you're wondering, okay, that's cool, that's cute, but how do I get there? I was not always this honest and open with myself. It really, really, really took time and energy and tears and anger. The self-love journey is not like, it is not all rainbows and cupcakes. I cannot emphasize this enough. I had to get very, very deep and real and personal with myself in order to get to the point where I know for a fact there's nobody on this earth who loves me more than me. And I genuinely think that the best first step is to journal. And I think journaling, you can take that so many different ways. Journaling doesn't just look like writing on paper. If you're an artist, or even if you're not, you can draw how you're feeling if words are too much for you at the moment. You can look up different prompts on TikTok and Instagram and Google, or you can just free write. What is on your mind today? It doesn't have to be this super intense situation. Sit down, open a notebook, write how you're feeling. Even if it is, I am feeling fine. Why are you feeling fine? What made you feel fine today? Boom, then take it there. But it's a journey that you have to continue and be consistent on. And you deserve that. You deserve to be consistent with your self-love journey. Something else that I've done in place of journaling is creating an Instagram account. Most people would know them as Finstas. Creating an Instagram account where I literally just talk my shit. I get up there and I vent. I basically use it as a digital journal. I get up there and I vent, and I can post my memes, and I can cry, and I can talk about whatever. And it's up to you whether or not you want that account to have followers or not, but it's for you. It's meant to be therapeutic. I have a few people on there that I trust, and they are a sounding board for me. I feel safe telling them my feelings. So I think that creating an Instagram account or a Twitter account that has little to no followers and just talking your shit is so therapeutic. It allows you to really work through your emotions without fear of judgment. And you can sound as crazy and unhinged as you want. Can't nobody tell you, because it's just you talking to you. And the cool thing about a journal or a digital journal is that you get to look back on it. You get to see how you've grown, and you get to see that yesterday's me is not today's me. And you get to really track that journey. And I think tracking that journey also instills so much self-love, because you have to love yourself as you were and as you are. And as you continue loving yourself, you're going to love yourself through your ups and your downs. There's going to be some days where it is hard, but you at least instilled that self-love where you know every down is going to have an up. There's no choice, because you love yourself enough to make sure of that. So I encourage you guys to look into expanding what self-love means to you. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. And this, I really want you guys to learn who you are outside of others. Who are you outside of being a brother or sister, a daughter or son, a mom or dad, a friend, outside of being an employee? Who are you? What makes you you? Get real, get deep, get intimate, and get weird with yourself. We are all very unique people, and I think that loving ourselves really allows us to connect to others more honest and genuinely. But it also makes this whole life thing so much better. Life is hard enough. Gas is high. The government on some weird shit. You might as well love yourself at the very least. At the very least. If everything outside is crazy, at least let it be stable inside. And try your best. It's not going to be easy. I am not going to promise you that, but it's worth it. All right, so welcome back. I know it wasn't that long, but next I want to get into some activities and practices for self love. So I know we already talked about journaling and creating a Finsta or a Twitter account, but there are a lot of other things you can do to show up for yourself and implement self love. Earlier, I mentioned doing things for your future self. You can also frame that in the context of doing things for your higher self if you are a more spiritual person. But doing things for your future self, I think, is one of the most underrated hacks. I have tricked myself into doing a lot of things that I don't have the motivation to do using this type of mindset. Just doing things for my future self. Like if I don't feel like journaling today and I don't even want to get up on my Finsta and talk my shit, I'll sit down with myself, have a real moment like, future me is going to be really happy you got this off your chest, And talking to yourself, please be comfortable talking to yourself, You be having some good things to say. I know you do. So doing things for my future self, like I talked about earlier, is a really, really great thing. So washing the dishes for my future self. And like I'm really seeing the benefit of it in real time. Like I have never been the type of girl to make my bed. I have started making my bed every morning for the past month for the concept of like future me. When she's ready to go to bed tonight, she's going to be feeling like she's getting into a hotel bed. Like, she's going to be so excited to go to sleep. Everything's going to look all organized and clean and neat, and that sleep is going to hit. And when I tell you, it's very, very, very true. Every night when I come home to my well-made bed, I'd be like, ooh, past Shiva did what she needed to do, Or like setting out my clothes for the next day. When I wake up, I don't have to put any thought into what I want to wear. I'm like, ooh, past Shiva did what she needed to do. Thank you so much, because the outfit is cute and I didn't have to put any thought into it. Going to the gym. Future me this summer, Shiva this summer is going to be so happy that I put in that work at the gym now. So just doing things for your future self, I think, is a really good hack for kind of tricking yourself into doing things you wouldn't usually do or you're not motivated to do. And yeah, another good activity for implementing self-love is going on self-care dates. I did a series in 2022 and I'm continuing the series now in 2023 on my TikTok. And you can follow me at BBYSHEEVS. So my @ is Baby Sheaves on TikTok. And I've been doing these self-care dates where I would put all of these date ideas in a bag and I would randomly pick them. So it's still like surprising myself. Whatever date I pick, that's the date I would go on for that week. I recently changed it though. There's this TikTok couple, the @ is Rosie Piper. She does one inside date and one outside date for her and her husband, and they switch off picking them. I translated that into self-love / self-care dates, in which I would take myself on one date inside the house and plan one date for outside the house for myself. So I have these 2 jars. One jar has a bunch of ideas that I wrote down, which I show in one of the TikTok videos, that are inside the house date ideas and outside the house date ideas. And the way that I came up with those ideas is like, there's so many places that I've wanted to go that I'm just too scared to go alone. Like, everybody hates going out to eat by themselves. Everybody hates going shopping by themselves. So like, making myself do those things on my own is requiring me to get more comfortable with my own presence and my own energy. And I've actually started to really enjoy doing things by myself. So those self-care dates have been really, really helpful in implementing self-love, because self-love is both mental and physical. I can be super, super comfortable with myself mentally, but if I can't even go out and get some ice cream with myself, then I'm not that comfortable. And I don't mean in the drive-through. I mean going somewhere, sitting down, eating, and just enjoying your own space, being comfortable in your own mind while you are somewhere that you would usually go with someone else. And like I said earlier, self-love is both mental and physical. So in loving myself, I also love myself enough to want to take care of my body. So engaging in some form of physical activity that you like. So me, I really like lifting at the gym. So I try to lift 3 to 4 times a week because it makes me happy. If you like yoga or Zumba or whatever the case, or Pilates, I know the girls really love Pilates right now. Doing whatever you need to do to show yourself like I'm worthy of a healthy, functioning body. You know, using your body to whatever extent you can use it to, and enjoying that movement is really important. It shows yourself like, hey, I was given this body, I love this body, I will use this body to enjoy myself. I also think that meditation and prayer, if you like to engage in prayer, is a really, really good form of self-care as well. Doing guided meditations or even just sitting in a meditative state in silence is so good for your self-love, because you have to get comfortable with all of the thoughts that just roam through your mind. If you tried meditating before, that shit is hard. It is hard to meditate sometimes, a lot of times, most times, because you're sitting there, and the sitting is not even really the hard part. It's the thoughts. Like, there are so many random things that just pop through your mind. You might be trying to meditate and you're thinking about what you're going to cook for dinner tomorrow. But like, learning to sort through those things and allowing yourself to be comfortable with stillness really, really helps you to get comfortable, not only with all of the crazy thoughts that come in and out of your mind, but also being comfortable just existing in this body, being present, feeling your breath, and being grateful for the fact that you're alive. You know, I think that that's also really, really important for self-love. And you can do all of these practices or pick one and start there. That's cool. You know, we already talked about journaling, like I said earlier. And so I think implementing any of these practices could be really, really helpful for your self-care and self-love journey. And I'm always open to anybody telling me any new ideas. If you guys have any new ideas or want to expand on or create a conversation around some of the ideas I presented, please let me know. I would love, 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 love to hear it. I love a nice, good intellectual conversation, okay? So coming up to the end of the show, I just wanted to share a song that I think would be really great to add to your self-love or affirmations playlist. Please take some time today to listen to Know That You Are Loved by Cleo Soul. I'm pretty sure it's on all platforms, but the message in that song is just really, really beautiful and really emphasizes that you are loved. And I enjoy listening to some songs from a first person perspective, so almost like I'm singing it or listening to it as a message to myself. So go ahead and give that song a listen. And if you are interested in going a little bit deeper with your healing today, the next episode will be an episode that is just subliminals and affirmations for you to meditate to, listen to while you're walking, driving, sitting. And I will just go ahead and pour some love and light into you. So if you are interested in that, please keep listening for the next episode. Thank you guys for listening today. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me. If nobody else has told you today, I love you, I care about you, and I am so happy that you're alive. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next episode.